The most important program on your computer is your web browser, and yet most people aren't sure which web browser they're using or what a web browser even is. Let me try to explain by first telling you what a web browser is not. A web browser is different from Windows or Mac, which are systems that allow you to manage files and programs. And it's different from a search engine, which is a website that is used to search the internet. Instead, a web browser is a program on your computer that allows you to visit websites. You get to your web browser by clicking on its icon. From there, you enter web addresses, and the web browser displays the web pages for you. The web browser is the most important piece of software on your computer because every web page runs through it. So a faster web browser means that you'll save time on every web page you open. Installing a new web browser is free and only takes minutes. So take a moment to choose a web browser that you like best today.
Alright, so someone asked me what is the best internet browser to use? And I'm going to give you my opinion and a couple of alternatives, because really it comes down to preference. Now I'm sure you're all familiar with Internet Explorer. That's the default browser that comes with Windows, and a lot of people don't even know that there are other browsers that you can use. The two other main ones are Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox. Now I used to use Firefox, but now I've switched to Google Chrome. A while ago, Firefox was the best, I think, but it started to slow down and it crashed all the time and it just got very clunky, and whenever I switched to Google Chrome, it was fine. So I changed there permanently, so now I use Google Chrome exclusively and I've never looked back. Now, although Internet Explorer has improved a lot over the last few years, I still think it's better to use one of the other internet browsers such as Firefox or Google Chrome, mostly because there are so many more plugins that make the browser better. Firefox and Chrome both have a huge amount of plugins that you can get that do anything from help you to download videos or track your wish lists from Amazon. Internet Explorer really doesn't have a lot of that. Now, one of the reasons I like Google Chrome the best is because it's really fast. Firefox used to start loading pages slower and slower as more and more updates came out for it, and it also used up a lot of memory, which I noticed, but Google Chrome really doesn't have this problem at all. So I encourage you, if you're still using Internet Explorer or Firefox, to at least try Google Chrome, because in my opinion, I think it's the best out of the three major ones that I talked about. There are other ones such as Opera, and if you're on a Mac, there's Safari. I don't know how Google Chrome compares to Safari, so I can't comment on that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and maybe it'll help some of you guys who didn't know that there are other options out there or what they were for internet browsers. I hope you can maybe improve your speed for loading web pages and that kind of thing. It won't actually increase your internet speed, but it will run faster when you're loading a page, possibly. So be sure to like the video and also leave a comment on your thoughts. And also follow me on Twitter, because I usually put up some behind the scenes extra stuff, just my thoughts on videos and that kind of thing. And also, thanks for watching.
Hey guys, this is Austin, and today I'm here with a browser test. So a question I get asked all the time is, what's the best web browser? Considering how many choices are out there, it definitely makes sense to find the best, especially considering how much time everyone spends checking email, going on Facebook, YouTube, all that kind of stuff every single day. So today I'm going to be comparing 4 of the best. So I'm going to be taking a look at Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Opera, as well as Microsoft Internet Explorer to see which one is going to be the best of the best. To test, I used a mid-range PC with an AMD FX 4300 quad-core processor, 8GB of RAM, and a Radeon 6850 graphics card running Windows 8. To start with, we're using the Peacekeeper benchmark, which is a fantastic overall test of a browser's performance. Now this tests quite a few things about the browsers, so for example how fast they are at rendering JavaScript, how well they handle various different web standards, and all kinds of fun geeky stuff that you guys probably don't care about. Google Chrome clearly wins this one with a score well above the rest of the competition. Opera does fairly well, as does Firefox and Internet Explorer. However, especially when you consider JavaScript, Chrome is really second to none. Next up, we have the HTML5 test, which measures how well each browser adheres to the latest web standards. The way to think of HTML is kind of like the rulebook for the internet, as basically every single web page uses it, so this kind of tells you how well each browser will be able to support some of the really cool things you'll find all over the internet. Here again, Chrome does very well, coming up on a perfect 500 score. Both Opera and Firefox also do very well here, and even Internet Explorer 10, which does come in a distant last, still supports a vast majority of HTML5 that you'll find on the internet. Moving on, we have the HTML5 fishbowl, which measures how well each browser supports GPU acceleration. As more and more of the internet moves away from Flash for all kinds of cool things, it's definitely important to see how well all of these browsers support cool things such as games. Even while rendering 2,000 fish at one time, Firefox easily aced this one with a perfect score of 60 frames per second. Internet Explorer 10 also did very well, as did Chrome. However, Opera fell way behind due to the fact that the GPU acceleration really didn't seem to be working well with this test. Now it's time to see exactly how fast all of these browsers load web pages. So that's what I did. I loaded up Amazon.com each time in the browsers multiple times and averaged the scores to see exactly how fast they really are. Impressively, Opera was the fastest browser in this test, followed up very closely by Chrome, as well as Internet Explorer, and finally Firefox. Next up, I took a look at the memory usage of each of the browsers with 7 tabs open. Now this is especially important if you have a slower computer, as generally the more lightweight the browser is, the better it will run. Firefox is the clear winner here, taking up much less memory than the other 3. Internet Explorer did alright, however both Opera and Chrome took up much more memory to do the exact same thing than the others. Overall, there are a few things to take away from this. For starters, all 4 browsers actually did really quite well, so the days of having to immediately ditch Internet Explorer are mostly over, as it's become a very competent browser. Firefox also did well, especially if you have a slower computer, and Opera did really well, and most all tests didn't really win a whole lot, but it's still a very fast browser and still a very good way to go. However, the winner for this one has to be Chrome, as it was consistently one of the fastest browsers out there, and as long as you have a fairly decent computer to run it, it should be a really solid choice. I'm interested to know, what browser are you guys using? While I tried to go over as much as I could in this test, of course there are other things I didn't go over, for example extensions and all kinds of special features that each browser has, so definitely be sure to let me know what browser you guys use in the comments below. If you're interested in more, feel free to check out my last video, where I went over the top 5 features of the brand new PlayStation 4.
To access internet-based information on your computer, you'll need a web browser. This is an application that your computer uses to view web pages and navigate internet-based information. Common web browsers are Internet Explorer, Firefox, and Chrome. All web browsers have the same basic layout to help you navigate the web. The address bar is at the top of the web browser and is where you type in the web address that you want to go to. As you search the web, you can always look to the address bar to know which website you are on. You can either click on the Load button or simply hit Enter to call up the website. Some browsers have a built-in search engine, so you can use words and phrases to search for web pages instead of having to know the exact web address. As you explore different pages on a website, you can use the Back and Forward buttons to move back to a page you recently visited or move forward up to the page you're currently on. The Refresh button will reload a web page. This can be helpful if the page doesn't load properly or there is a momentary hiccup in your internet connection. The horizontal or vertical scroll bars on your web browser or any computer program will help you move the screen left and right or up and down if the contents go beyond what you can immediately see on the screen. Finally, to minimize, resize, or close the web browser or any program on your computer, use the icons in the top right-hand corner.